Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran. I like to help people with their spiritual awakening. Today I'm going to be gearing this more towards twin flames, so if you're not here for that, then I guess probably don't stick around. But this is going to be a video for helping twin flames, or even people that are in relationships that are just, you have this very, very strong connection with, right? And you need to let go. Okay, so this video is going to share you a kind of a metaphor in ways to let go of your twin flame, okay, or your very, very serious relationship, just in a situation that isn't really working for you at this time, right? Now, with twin flame relationships, you often are very attached, right? There's this element where you need them because they're the other part of you, right? And it goes beyond that, of course, but ultimately you do look at them as some sort of, you have this type of soul connection in which they're, it's almost like you're responsible for them and they're responsible for you. And, with the fact that you might find yourself at this time being a little bit stagnated, that there's some element where things aren't working, it's not fulfilling, it's not a fulfilling relationship, there isn't anything really going your way, there doesn't look like there's any commitment, real communication, and basically you're at a point where, where you're not really sure what to do, right? The universe has basically pushed you to where all you can really do is focus on yourself, and you're not really sure about taking that leap of faith and trusting, right? And so I think that this video is actually going to help you guys trust, all right? Because ultimately, with things like this, it becomes a sort of a paradox, because you look at them as your true love, and consciously inside of your mind you are saying to yourself, I deserve this, I deserve love, why isn't this happening, right? But paradoxically, you are, by holding on to what isn't serving you, by holding on to somebody who isn't showing you love at this time, it becomes, you're actually saying to yourself, I don't deserve love, right? On a subconscious level, by holding on to something that doesn't serve you, you are actually, in fact, telling yourself that you do not deserve love. And that is, that's being mirrored back to you in the relationship, right? Again, don't try to think of your twin as just the human, right? Think about it from the soul perspective, okay? Because they're playing out things that they're not even aware of. But the divine feminine actually has that ability to tap in to that extra awareness, that intuition, for you to realize that truly what's happening is you can't force them to love you, because it is a lesson for yourself, right? You're actually trying to, the universe is trying to push you to love yourself, right? Because this person isn't loving you right now. And if you keep clinging, you can never get that love, right? You can never get that love back. You can never make them love you. And so in order to do that, you really do need to let go. And twin flame relationships actually teach you a lot about letting go. I would imagine you guys are pretty aware of that. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part in anything in life, is really letting go of things, right? Because we like things. Things are awesome. As long as we attach some type of meaning to them. There's things that people can let go of that they don't care about, but I might care about. And so I find it very hard to let go of, right? And so it all comes down to that personal type of perspective that's going on. But what I really wanted to share with you is this type of metaphor that I think will help you actually be able to let go of your twin. Now, there is an element, I've been saying this for the last couple of days to numerous different people, and so I wanted to just, share it here, but there is a type of element of, I don't want to say it's cliche, but you might have heard this before, okay? I don't think, it's certainly not an original thought, or it may be an original thought to me, but I'm not too sure that you may have never heard it used in any type of other circumstance before, okay? So I'm not going to take credit as if it's, but it is some type of wisdom that I did want to share with you guys, okay? So basically, in order to let go of this relationship, you do need to treat it like it is a boomerang, okay? And if you're not familiar with what a boomerang is, I can't help you. Look it up. But, so, essentially, right, treat it like a boomerang, okay? And with the boomerang, you throw it, okay, and it comes back to you, right? Now, you do have to let go of it, though, right? There is an element of, okay, well, the boomerang is going to come back to you, but you do have to throw it. You do have to have the courage to actually let go, right? And this is why I think this is a perfect metaphor for the twin flame relationship, because ultimately, you do have to, take that leap of faith and actually toss it and just say, you know what? It's good. The universe will do something about it. It'll come back to me. And that's the hardest thing, but you do have to believe that it is actually like a boomerang, right? There is something about the relationship that will always connect you, that will always bring you guys back together, regardless of what it looks like in the 3D. Because remember, from a soul perspective, there's stuff going on energetically that they actually have to learn, that they have to go through, uh, that they have to really force them to awaken. Because if they don't awaken, number one, you'd be in an unhappy relationship. Because I can tell you something of myself. Since I've been awakened, I've tried making relationships with women work. Uh, that is impossible because there's no extra awareness, right? All that there really would be at the end of the day is maybe somebody that's funny, or maybe somebody with a personality, or maybe it's just a physical relationship. But ultimately, there's no deep spiritual connection, because they're not even aware, right? Um, they don't have that type of perspective, and that would make it very hard to actually have a relationship with having people with two very different worldviews, right? And this is again why you actually have to let go of them, because you have to let go of them to actually let them learn, right? When you cling on to them, again, it's like you're saying that you don't deserve love, so they are not going to change, right? Because you're clinging on to something that isn't fulfilling you, that isn't making you happy. You're clinging on to a situation that ultimately is not changing, and it's not changing because you're holding on. And it is actually divine feminines, and this is where the empowerment comes in, because it is the divine feminines who actually are the engine of this relationship. And when you just decide to kind of go your own way and let them go, that's when they kind of look back and go, you can imagine you letting go, and the boomerang traveling, right? And then there is going to be a point where it turns back, okay? And the sooner that you can let go, the sooner that you can get that process started, right? And so you let them go, and there is a point where it begins to turn, where it begins to come back, and that's when that's basically the farthest point in which they could be away from you, and you know what I mean, like energetically, because you've thrown it, so it gets farther. They get farther and farther and farther away from you until eventually they've hit a point where they're so far away from you because you've let go of them that they look back, and because energetically, even if they don't understand it intellectually, they will feel you, and they will think to themselves, well, where the hell is my divine feminine? Where is this person? What happened to the person that was chasing me? What happened to the person that was giving me all this attention? Then they look back, right? Energetically, intellectually, spiritually, their soul guides them back towards you. And then they come back to you. And you are able to, I guess, receive it, catch it. But again, you can also choose to, when it does come back to you, to throw it again. But the divine feminines are the ones that are throwing it, okay? And that's where all the power is. But when you hold on to the boomerang and you know that you have to throw it, but you won't throw it, and you're like wanting this, that you're wanting this object to fulfill you, it's like, you want this experience of what a boomerang would be, right? I would really like to throw a boomerang and have it come back to me. That would be great. I would really like to experience this, right? Or it's like I would really like to be flying a kite. But if you just hold on to the kite or the boomerang and you don't actually, complete the action, then you haven't actually experienced it. And so you're just, it's like with a kite, right? For another metaphor, you want the kite to fly, but you're not actually letting it go, because you're afraid that, and it could be because you're afraid that it's going to fail, or that you don't trust that it'll come back to you, okay? But ultimately, it will, because it's always there. But you do have to have the courage, to let that kite fly, to let the boomerang go, because you do need to experience that as well. And that's where the empowerment is. The universe is like literally right there for you guys, ready to empower you and give you everything that you need as soon as you let go. And the more that you let go, the more things come in, okay? And I'll share some stuff from my own life. Letting my twin go, very, very hard. I don't like letting things go. I like holding on to things. Not like material, not really like that, but more like an emotionally attachment, right? I notice this camera's also getting very dark and light. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I apologize. But I like to hold on to things a little bit, okay, emotionally speaking. Now, with my twin, it's a very, very painful process of, karmic relationship, and then recently, she's getting engaged type of thing, right? Which really hurt me. But when that happened, I changed direction almost immediately, right? And a couple weeks ago, I kind of told her, I reached out and I was like, I think I've had enough. Do you know what I mean? I just needed to say some shit, needed to speak my truth, and I got it out, and I felt better. But as soon as I did that, right, I attracted new things into my life, okay, and new people, new friends. I met like a cool new friend. I was like, oh, cool friend, right? These little things started to come in, okay? Then after she got engaged, I was like, oh shit, that was so much pain that it caused me to like really let go. Do you know what I mean? To actually throw the boomerang, okay? I've gotten rid of any negative thoughts regarding her. It doesn't matter what happened to me, it doesn't matter the pain, it just doesn't matter anymore. Because I've realized now that there's literally nothing I can do to make her complete me. Do you understand? And so what has to be done is I have to just let go of her. And doing that has actually made my life a lot easier. I've traveled in a new direction completely, almost overnight. And I don't mean to say that overnight you don't love them anymore. It's not like that. It's more like you become incredibly empowered and okay with how things are, almost overnight. You begin to accept the change, okay? Because as soon as you let go, trust me, it is incredibly easy. It becomes so easy because it's not hurting you anymore. When you do hold on to that thing, when you hold on to that boomerang and you refuse to let it go, it hurts you and hurts you and hurts you and hurts you because you're standing still. You're just standing and you're stagnating, and it's just insane. You can't look at anything. You can't focus on anything else but the thing inside your hand, right? And and when that happens, it becomes very, very difficult to actually move forward in any direction. But with me, when I found out that information, yeah, of course it hurt. It hurt so much, so much pain. I think I said this in another video, but like I got really angry and punched a wall in my door. I'm not that strong, but the door just happens to be a piece of shit. So piece of shit door meets guy with average amount of strength. Pretty easy to punch a hole. So anyway, after that though, it was like a release. I was suddenly very, very free, and I've been wanting to go back to school, not necessarily for, let's say, sort of degrees and stuff like that. I'm not like a big fan of education and the money that it costs and the type of societal pressure that's put on it. Right? That's not me. However, I do a lot of music and I do music production, and I would like to make a small business out of it. And I realized that the small business that I already have made with it would it would be beneficial if I could have a type of certificate to prove that I can actually do this properly. Do you know what I mean? Because I would like a career in some type of music, like a stable job with music, right? And then also do it as a hobby, see where that goes, among the other things that I'm doing, such as tarot, YouTube, writing, small business that I have with my friend going on right now, that type of stuff, right? So but suddenly, right, I put it off. Okay, I mean, I put it off. I just was like, nah, it's not the right time. Maybe next semester. Okay, but finding out that information, I was like, fuck. And the classes start literally next week. Okay, and what I did was I went in, I looked at all the classes. Okay, it just so happens that like that day I got the government of California was like, here's a bunch of money, free money. I don't have to pay it back. Okay, and so I was like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that money. I can use it, of course, to also get a place near school. Okay, the school is it's near the ocean. Okay, I've been saying for the last couple months to the universe as an affirmation, please take me near the ocean. I want to be near the water. I want to be there. I want to work near the water. I want to live near the water. Let me get the hell to the water. Okay, because I have an idea in my head where my ultimate dream home would be on the beach somewhere. Okay, and I'm striving towards that goal. One of those goals, right? It's one of my things I just want. Okay, and it's already taking me there. But I found classes that all lined up immediately. All the days that I needed completely lined up. The classes, the times, everything. All the classes that I needed were still available. Some of them, I needed like an extra class just to fill. I found a creative writing class. I love writing myself, and I was like, oh shit, this is perfect. I can even do some creative writing as well, just like a class that's like just for me. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not going to help towards anything, but it'll be just fun for me, right? And that's awesome to me. And but it all happened just because I let go. Do you know what I mean? And the more that you let go, the more things come in. The more that things actually come back towards you, right? Because you let go of that pain, you let go of the boomerang, you're letting the kite fly, and you're letting them learn their lessons. Because again, they're going to be, they have to become awakened more to the connection. They feel intense love for you. They absolutely do. But a lot of twin flames come from terrible relationships, terrible backgrounds, right? Often difficult families, life, and so their parents, might have a lot of expectations of them, and there could be different kinds of backgrounds and stuff like that. And essentially, a lot of twin flames, usually these divine masculines, are, they're aware of this love inside of them, but they're not aware of what it means, and so it becomes very easy for them to really to bury it, right? Whereas the divine feminines are not only aware of the love that they have, but they're also aware of what it means. Okay, but divine feminines struggle with moving on and carrying that love with them, right? Because it's a lesson for us, right? And as a divine feminine, I've said this so many times, it is your ultimate goal to realize that you do not need your divine masculine. And you will only realize that when you finally let go of them, when you decide internally that I think it's time. I think it's time that I let go and let them just go learn. Because trust me, you wouldn't want to be with your twin if they're not ready. And you can, if you've been with your twin and you've been separated and there was arguments maybe or things didn't work out, if you're separated, you can probably attest to that fact, okay? Because ultimately, I think what any of you guys would want would be a stable, grounded relationship. One that exists, one that you can count on and one that you can trust, not a relationship or a person that seems very, very fickle and unsure of themselves and where they stand in the relationship, and where you would yourself would constantly feel like you have to be on guard, or you have to worry about them leaving, or manipulating you, okay? Because again, some twins they pick up patterns, okay? They can be very manipulative, very mean, very cold, right? They can suddenly just change because of that triggering, right? So you guys need to, let go for your own physical health, for your own mental health, for your spiritual health, emotional health, because everything will actually work out for your best, because the universe wants you to be successful, because you are here to be successful. So you are part of the same type of energy, right? So you need to let go, and that stuff will actually come back to you. They'll come back to you because they do have to make that turn, and that'll be at the farthest point when they're away from you, okay? Because the farther and farther it gets away, the more that they feel that. And again, you're the one that's in charge. If you truly want your twin flame to come back to you, you do need to let them go, because they will absolutely come back to you. But unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it does mean that you're going to have to let the universe just do it for you. And that's incredibly hard to do. It's something that takes almost a daily practice, because there are going to be days where you could go a week and you're fine, and then there's a day where you go, oh shit, you check their social media maybe, you cry, which isn't, none of the crying isn't even really that big of a deal, honestly. But there could be days where you feel like you're chasing them again, right? But you'll notice that it becomes less and less and less and less, and you should look at that as a sign, like the boomerang. Like, okay, at one point, you threw the boomerang, you're here, this is the boomerang, and there's here, okay, you're still crying, but now they're here and you haven't cried that much, right? And now they keep going, and the farther and farther away you get, the more empowered you become. And then eventually they reach that point where they begin turning back and they come back towards you, okay? And it's really simple. It's incredibly hard to do, but it is only hard to do because you don't want to do it. And that might be tough to hear, but it's true, and it's something you have to realize about yourself. It's something you have to come to terms with, something that I didn't want to admit for the longest time, until I realized that the only way for me to ever get my twin back, or even regardless of her ever coming back, would be to actually, in order for me to just be happy, I would need to let her go. Do you understand what I mean? In order for you guys to be happy, you need to let your twin go. Because again, that's a lesson the universe is trying to teach you. And it's one that you would come here to teach yourself. Because ultimately, feeling empowered is better than feeling like you are chained to somebody. But as long as you're chained to them, you'll never know what it's like to feel empowered. And the only step that you have to take, and literally the only step that you have to take, is to just throw the boomerang, take off the chains, fly the kite. That's it. It's one step, and it's the scariest step, but as soon as you make the one step, everything else works out completely fine, okay? I'll be going back to school. I'll have money to buy a new car. I'll have money to get my own place. I'll have money to, possibly I could even just work at the school. They have jobs at the colleges and stuff like that. Get a job near the school. Okay, that'd be better than where I'm living right now. I've been saying to the universe for months, please get me out of where I live. This town is very boring where I live. Not a lot of creative opportunities. Just mostly Targets and, McDonald's, and just boring shit. It's like a deserty town type of thing. It's like wine country, okay? Everybody here is white and Republican, so they're all very, very boring. So essentially, I'm just looking for more awakened people, people that are just a little bit more, not hippie-ish, but, a a little bit more in tune with the flow of the universe, a little bit more open, a little bit more liberal, that type of, like in their personality, I should say. I don't like boring, stagnant, traditional people. I find them very, very boring. If you can't make me laugh, I don't care about you. Okay. So anyway, the idea is that I'm just looking for stuff that resonates with me, right? And I've been saying that to the universe, and I can finally see it intuitively coming into fruition, and I'm actually putting myself there, and I'm realizing that the pain and the separation is actually kind of small blessings, because I'm a very, very different person than when I first started, and I do feel more empowered than I did 3 days ago, and 3 days ago I felt more empowered than I did, a week before that, and so on and so on. Okay, because the twin flame relationship is something that really changes by holidays, right? So I would put, if I were to give advice to you guys, and of course give it to myself, then I would say, who do you think you're going to be by the next holiday? Which would be, what's the next major holiday? Thanksgiving. I guess Halloween's a pretty big deal, right? I never liked Halloween, but I do like candy, so maybe. But I think that's the next major holiday. I don't think Labor Day is a real holiday. If it's not a bank holiday, it doesn't matter. So imagine who you'd be by November, right? By Thanksgiving. Like, imagine all the stuff that you would have accomplished by then, and all of the things. And that's also a good place to put yourself in mentally, because then you're not so much worrying about, well, what's going to happen today? What's actually going to happen today? Because you with my twin, right? Because you do have to understand that if you can say to yourself, well, it's not going to happen tomorrow, you take a lot of pressure off of yourself to keep going forward. And you don't have to worry so much about where the relationship is headed, because you know that it's not going to happen tomorrow. And then one day, you're not even thinking about it, and then it happens tomorrow, okay? So just keep that in mind. I wanted to share this as just a reminder to you guys that might be struggling at this time, because this is a very transformative period, and so a lot of you might still be in your feelings a little bit, and if you are, my recommendation would be to go listen to Drake songs from 2008 and then cry. Probably, I think, good idea. Glass of red wine, the album Take Care by Drake, and a box of your favorite cookies. Okay, in that order. All right, guys, so I hope this helped. Of course, let me know if it did or didn't, if it resonated, and I hope that this information will give you a little bit of more insight into where you might stand and what you might have to do in order to be more happy with who you are right now in this moment. Okay? All right, guys, you guys have an enjoyable Sunday, and I hope it's going well for you guys. All right? And I will see you guys probably tomorrow when I do a tarot reading. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.